Good evening. I'm City Councilor Marlo Brown. It's November 20th, Thursday, and this is our maintenance development meeting. We're gonna call this meeting to start. We're basically here to discuss how people acquire different properties. Some people like the city will have certain things. There's things called RFPs. Some people want to know there's certain projects that that'll come about that we'll see organizations get, and if they're contractors, how to actually bid on these actual jobs. So say they might have painting, they might have certain infrastructures, and they're looking for contractors. They're honestly required, a lot of these organizations are required by the state to hire a certain percentage of minority contractors and things like that. A lot of people, they don't know. I've heard a lot of times from the city that we advertise, but I've also heard from the community that they're not getting the information. So basically, I wanted to bring Tina and Jerry. To me, I can tell you, I had an opportunity to talk with Jerry. I had a meeting with her one time, and they know she's a diamond in the rough. The things that she told me, and I see her do things, during city council, and I'm like, oh, why didn't we have the opportunity to do that? And it's just because a lot of people don't know. So without, I don't want to be long-winded. I have my colleagues here. I give them the opportunity to speak real quick.
Yeah, I think that it'll be great having this meeting today because those while I was doing acting, that was one of the questions that came up. How do we acquire and how the process takes place? And it came to my mind speaking with Councilor Marlo. We do the homeowners trainings. I think that one of my recommendations should be that if we're gonna have those lots in whatever ward it is, probably we could do a little small homeowner lots, whatever technical assistant. I don't know what to call it, but I think
we have done them before and we call them technical assistance workshops.
Okay, great. So I'm on the right track.
There's videos on the website too of the technical things.
Go further in, right?
So
That's I'll leave it at that so we could discuss more.
You want to sit here?
Yeah, if I may just ask a question, a lot of people come up to me after the fact and say, I didn't know this property was going to be, at auction, or where do people find this information? Is it on our website too?
It's on our website.
Yeah.
I'll let Tina speak for the RFP and I'll speak for the auction.
Yeah, so I think that there are two good ways to tell folks that are interested in learning when these types of sales happen of where that information is. So the first is on the city's website. If it's a property that's being sold through a request for proposals, it will be on the Office of Procurement website. Any RFP or bid that the city puts out goes up on there. So that includes bids for services for the city, bids for public construction projects, and when the city is selling property through a request for proposal process. The other place that's really good for folks that are interested in this is the treasurer's office. Staff there maintains an email list. And anytime a city property goes out for sale through a public process, they send an email blast to anyone on that list.
Just to interrupt,
Yep.
with that, on that form too, if you're only interested in one property, you don't want all the other notifications, on the form you can put, this is the property I'm interested in, and you will be notified when if and when that property comes up. Otherwise, you'll get notified every time something.
But didn't you used to publish that in the papers?
We publish it we put it on the website, but our current auctioneers for auctions, they will do it they in charge of marketing, they'll put flyers up and they'll put their website, they'll use their website to get it across. And the auctioneer will be in, and we notify both the paper, the Republican or Mass Live now, and we also put it on our website that there's an auction coming up that has all the links associated with it.
And when there's,
To be helpful, we're using a lot of acronyms. Maybe I can, and I know there's a lot of people here who haven't been in these meetings before. So I think the thing to understand, so the city comes into ownership of properties in various different ways, but there's only two ways that we sell properties. Three, you're gonna tell me about the third in a minute. I can't remember what the third one is. Oh, yeah, okay.
This came to her.
So we can auction, and it's determined by state law. There's only things we're allowed to do. You know, this is public property, so we have to have a public process. So we are allowed to sell by auction, and when we sell by auction, we have an auction company do it. The treasurer's office holds most of the properties. So they arrange auctions periodically. And yes, as Steve was saying, those are advertised by the auctioneer in the newspaper. We also tend to put it on our website and social media. So we get word out. An auction is, you know, everybody comes together at one place. There are a whole bunch of properties and people bid one by one on those properties. So that's sort of way number one. Way number two is we have a request for a proposal. So when the city identifies a property that seems like it's ripe for a particular kind of development, because usually when we're selling it at an auction, it is the highest bidder that's getting it. If we want to say, we actually think, for instance, these properties would be best as single-family homes, we might do them as, instead of just selling them to the highest bidder, we might have a request for proposals. A request for proposals enables us to really look at the qualifications of the persons that is bidding. We can put more restrictions on it to say, for instance, it must be owner-occupied, it must be affordable housing. Sometimes when we do those requests for proposals, so sometimes we're just selling land, but we are saying we want this, either this particular use or the best use, and we want to evaluate what people propose. Sometimes we have some money and we say, this is a high priority to develop, and the only way it's going to happen is if there's some public money. And then we'll say, we're asking for proposals for you to apply for money for us and the property, and we'd award them at the same time. I think there's one more wrinkle in that, which is the state makes available money for rehab of vacant and distressed property. So sometimes we try to package our property with money from the state. And that can be a series of requests that can sometimes get a little more complicated, but it is still putting out requests for proposals. And then sometimes either us or the person that already was awarded the property is also applying to the state for money. The third way that.
and before you move on to that, just to say, the RFPs aren't limited only to properties that we have targeted for a certain type of redevelopment. Sometimes where we also, what we see we put in RFPs are properties that are very challenging to develop, that are highly distressed, or that are historic or have some unique thing about them. And the reason we're putting it through RFP is because we want to have that higher level of review. We don't want it just going to the highest bidder, because often that's where we don't get to vet do they actually have the skills and qualifications to take on this complicated project.
That brings back, yes, some of the concern is, and I think some of what we've learned over years is if it's a hard property and we auction it, somebody's gonna get it, and then 2 years later, they're gonna go, we can't do this, have it back. And then we do it again and they give it back and it sits vacant for a long time. So where we're trying to really push the development, right, is where we want to not, again, just not say, I've put my hand up and I have some money to put down, but we're vetting to say, we can see that you have money, you have access to money to do the development. You know how to do development. You have some experience with construction or partners that are experienced. So yes, and that's sort of part of that. You know, I think what's important to think about when we're selling properties, so some of it is we want to get it. The city does not want to own properties that we're not using, so we want to get rid of them. 2, we want to get them on the tax rolls. But then 3, we're thinking about what's the impact of this property in the neighborhood? So no one wants to live next to vacant or distressed properties. So we're thinking about how are we getting things back to a use that somebody wants to live next door to. So I think that's that other piece of looking for responsible development.
Just to follow up real quick, because I know this gentleman wants to ask a question. If you go through the RFP and you're the high bidder, but you don't meet all the thresholds, who makes that decision that you didn't get it?
So I want to say it's not the high bidder. So that's, whereas at an auction, we're taking the high bidder. Then we do a request for proposal. We are saying, we're looking for something, and usually there's anywhere from 4 to 7 things. We tell you what we're looking for. We tell you how we're gonna score it. So we say, we want a developer with experience, and we consider experience to have done at least 3 comparable projects. We want somebody who can show us they have access to funding, and here's how you show that. We want to know that you've talked to the neighborhood council and the neighborhood council likes your plan. We tell you exactly what's in there. So we have a committee that we bring together every time we do an RFP. We bring a committee together. It's multiple city departments, and it is also the city council representative for the neighborhood in which the property.
Not
Typically.
always, yeah.
Yes, typically we're including the city council and or the neighborhood council. Sometimes there's some reasons that might not be appropriate in certain cases, but and whenever it is appropriate, we're typically bringing those people in so that we have community representation as well. And this group comes together, looks at, as we said, the scoring is laid out. Here's what you have to do to get the score in these very different areas. And then we compare who scored highest. The actual way the state requires us to do this is we score it, we send it to the procurement office, and the procurement compares how we ranked the applicants against how much they bid, and makes a determination there that says, here is the highest quality bid that is in line, because a bid amount can be way out of line. So that's in line with what we would expect and what makes sense. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
so it becomes it's very much dictated by state law.
Yeah, I've seen
That happens.
People, so say the Kavanaugh building, someone donated, they paid like $1,000 for their RFP. You know, you have to have you have like a person who you got a construction part, you have like the stuff set up. You have to have like the things set up when you're presenting it. Like you might not be an expert at construction, you might not, but if you have those people in place as part of the project, they can be the experts up on that, But
I do want to say that was not city owned. That was a private sale.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm gonna do, because I want people to be able to.
Third way that the city disposes of properties, and those are butter sales, and those are typically vacant lots that are under a certain value threshold set by the state. And through that, the city has an application process that is open only to the abutters. And there's a set price per square footage that gets sold at. There also is a web page on the city's website that outlines all of this information and links to the various places. There's also a couple of training resources from when we've done technical assistance workshops in the past. So for anyone who is interested in sort of digging into this deeper, that's a good resource and a good place to start.
Okay, thank you, Tina. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to open it up to the floor real quick. If you wish to ask a question, this is gonna be, it's gotta be kind of right to the point and quick. If you hear a person ask a similar question, then go on and let another person ask. And then we'll go into more of the construction bidding part after this one. So I see Counselor Whitfield. I'll let her ask first, and then we'll start from this way to the sideways. I always let my colleagues at least speak first. Go ahead, Counselor Whitfield.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. I'm actually headed up, so you can go ahead around the room and I'll ask my question when I get upstairs.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Counselor. All right, now we're gonna go Zay.
The question.
And
No.
okay, and before you speak, please introduce yourself and then ask the question, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Zaid Aziz. I'm with People for People. We've had the amenity to look into certain things as far as properties here in Springfield almost in the course of a year. We found out that certain properties that are being owned or given is not the same as the assessor's map. So I'm gonna make it in the easy jargon. Here's my question. What is the checks and balances for people who don't always want to have a building, but just want to have first-time ownership and buy property to buy a house? We want to know what is the checks and balance to so we can be afforded the full amenity and not these disruptions that I'm seeing of how they're giving certain things to certain people and not us. So I don't want to use color today, but I'm gonna use population. Per population, I looked Latino and brown, black. We have the least percentage of buying and affording these properties. What happens, you get out-of-town bidders to come, they'll take these properties and then make it in the long run. So my question is, what is the checks and balance for us that protects our rights to buy houses, not just buildings?
Are you
I think
talking about
one-
from the city?
City, there used to be a time you can go on a list and get properties for $1.
Crazy.
Today, you don't get that list anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know, but there's still properties that I'm noticing that people from out of town are still buying these houses. I've been a native here in Springfield for 60 years, so I've seen these practices.
So one thing I want to say is, right, it is an insane housing market right now.
Yes.
We do not control privately owned housing. So there are a lot of landlords, there are a lot of property owners that are selling their properties right now. And we are seeing a lot of out-of-town buyers. We are
Yes.
seeing a lot of buyers who are coming just for the purpose of having investment properties. That is not our preference either, but we have no control. The city does not have any way to regulate who a private owner sells their private property to. So we're out of the picture for a lot of those transactions.
So you have
And-
control over the,
hold on,
oh,
hold
I'm
on,
sorry,
hold on.
to make sure I write.
Any questions, have it through the chair, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can add,
Do
do you want me to add? No. That's enough, Jerry.
basically, how I would answer this is that that's why we're here. A lot of times I can tell you, Councilor Perez, Councilor Whitfield, we sit there every single time and we say, why don't anybody know? Nobody knows, and nobody knows. And we try as a city, a lot of times I'm somewhat to blame too then, so this should have been done. So it's a miscommunication. I know I've heard my colleagues, we scream all the time, how are you giving 50 houses away? you guys, it's just, you don't have the information for some reason. Maybe my colleagues can help, reflect on.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is, I think if you want to be notified of city property sales, the best way to do that is to get on the email list.
Okay.
And that's an email blast goes out with every RFP, every auction, and that's the best way to do that. And then obviously those email blasts also go to the city council. All of the city councilors are on that list as well.
I just, one more thing, Dave, to get, respectively, do you think that we could sit down and we can compare the notes that I can show you better by action and research to just sit here right now, because I don't want to disrupt the meeting? So you can set a time that you can sit down with the people, not saying that you're not about,
Yeah.
this is about all of us.
Yeah,
I mean, we're happy to meet with
Yeah,
folks, absolutely.
Thank you.
yeah, do it.
All right.
Ready?
Council.
Okay. So, hey, team.
Hi.
So we work together a lot.
Yep.
Couple things that I always bring up, always, is where we're advertising, right? So it's going to the Republican, a little section in Republican. We don't have access to that. So the thing that kind of bothered me a lot was before we started this whole minority group, there were certain individuals that were just getting these properties because they knew you were gonna advertise in the new section of the paper. They also knew that nobody was gonna look there and they weren't gonna have any competition. So they were getting properties for like $1,000, $5,000. And now that it's so fair, we don't have those same opportunities anymore. And when I looked at the city of Boston and what they're doing, they have this contracting process now. If it's under the $50,000 threshold, that they have something that is going to like minority folks first. And because they're trying to level out the playing field from all those years, and I think that you should look into it, from all those years that we didn't have those opportunities, we need to like level the playing field a bit. So I remember coming to you with a few houses and it had to go through, I think, Jaleesa or something like that, and y'all had to do this investigation. Now, these are properties that we did our own research on, because I have a property, just to be transparent, I have a property development company too. And then you guys did your research, but then it had to go out to the universe. And I'm like, we did the research, we found these properties, and now you guys are on it and have to go out to the universe, but that wasn't happening before. Then the other thing that I have a problem with is the RFP process, because the people who have more experience, more funding are the same contractors that these people in here are talking about. So time and time again, I'm like, it should be a requirement in the RFP that they partner with less experienced emerging developers so the emerging developers can get the experience. Also, the RFP itself is complicated to write, and so if you have no experience writing RFPs or even reviewing RFPs, then you're probably gonna like give up, because it's just a very difficult thing to do and to have all those ducks in place in this very short window of time to get the ducks together, so we have to think of a creative way to level the playing field, so to speak, right? And so I think that a good opportunity for you all's department is to look at what the city of Boston is doing to level that playing field and maybe try to mimic it, because our folks are still not going to get the opportunities the way that it's being done now, because the same developers are going to keep getting the contracts. And I think that we can solve this problem together. I think that if we partner the emerging developers with the developers that win, like that has to be a part of the contract. And then we won't feel so left out. And then we also have to advertise where our people's going to look. Like 90.7, we're gonna hear that advertisement, right?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, in terms of advertisement, ads cost a lot of money.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of the issue. There's not really a big budget for
Ads.
advertisement. Procurement has a budget
Mhm.
to advertise in places where they are legally mandated to advertise.
And that,
In terms of partnering with folks, you and I we had talked. I had said we would be doing a technical assistance workshop. The goal is to film that. I'm just trying to get that together.
okay.
So what we'll probably do, I think the easiest way to probably do that and get decent video quality is to do it actually on Zoom versus in person. But my slides from a previous workshop are available online and they've been online for some time. We will go through that website, make sure that it's updated, and try to maybe add some information there as a resource for folks, and then get that technical assistance workshop sort of scheduled and going. We try to put it out when we've got an RFP out that it makes sense to do that for, so that folks are sort of getting it all at one shot. But we'll try to schedule that sometime, maybe this winter. And then in terms of the time frame, the minimum amount of time that the state permits an RFP to be out for disposition is 30 days. So if we believe it's more complicated, we try to put it out for a little bit longer, but that's the time frame that the state requires.
So minimum of 30, but if you don't know.
For disposition, not for goods and services. Goods and services.
If you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna take you about 2 weeks to figure that out.
Yeah.
And then you got 2 weeks to write it, and if you're not used to writing, you gotta find someone to help you, and that is difficult in itself. The other thing that I wanted to say is about the advertising. The state legislation have to change how advertising from the city is done. So the rule is they have to advertise with the what?
The
Largest.
central register and the paper
so that's-
record, yeah.
That's the Republican in Mass Life, so I have a problem with that altogether because every advertisement that happens in the city of Springfield is going to the Republicans. So our newspapers and our advertisements don't get an opportunity. So you and Bud can put in something to change that as well. So we're gonna take this to the state. And then the final thing that I wanted to say is there also funding that you all get that also go to the same organizations over and over again, like Gordon Pulsifer, New North Citizens Council. Because remember you gave me that list and I was like, why is it always Home City Development, Wayfinders, New North Citizens Council, and the same ones over and over again? Our people don't even know about these funds, number one, because I didn't until you gave that great presentation. And then number two, they don't even know how to obtain them. And so we have to do a little bit more and a little bit better to making sure that the process is well run with it so the whole community feels included and involved.
So when you came
Hold on,
in,
hold on. Good.
Mr. Chair, when you came in, I was speaking about the technical assistant. Back then, we had the corporations, not the councils, but we had corporations that met for that particular. And it was a technical process and how to apply, where to apply, when to apply, how much money the city had, or how do you identify those lots? And I think that what it did the reverse of Plainfield with most of the homeowners, in particular, I was just in a meeting that I came, 90% of the people that were rental converted into homeowners. So that's what I was looking when Mr. Chair asked for this meeting about the technical assistant. What I heard more and more and more and more is the lack of technical assistance, how to go through the process. And I'm pretty sure the city knows where the lots is at this time and not wait that 30 days vacuum to just go rush through the process. And people that have those technical assistants, they decide if they're gonna participate or not. And I think it's more fair share for everyone. Because if I know how to do something and you come and you don't have the technical assistant, guess what? I'm already in to enter, but you're still struggling to get where I am. So that's why I was so interested of this meeting. How could we get back to the technical assistant? And it was done. It was advertised in the Latino community, and a lot of the homeowners and in the Black community as well participated. Through the years' experience that I have as a former chief of housing, I see a lot of people out of town that knows where to go, and those particular. And I don't want to see the city divert that people has to move out that have been born and raised in this city because developers from outside are coming in. So I'm just advocating strongly for those technical assistants that people could have the leverage to decide if they want to participate rather than I myself seeing, well, this lot was empty and it was taken by the same person. You know what I'm saying? So that's my recommendation at this point.
So we're gonna.
Can I just say one final comment?
Go ahead, Council.
As far as technical assistance goes, I work with many organizations that provide technical assistance in my day job throughout the state, right? And so if we could like start partnering better,
Yep.
working together better, because these technical assistance provider not only offer like accounting, legal, they also offer capital. But you can't get any loans or grants if you don't have 2 years of tax returns, if you don't have your LLC, if you don't have certain things in place that some businesses don't. So I can't personally help all of you, right? But I have a network of people who can. But like, I would love to work together with the city of Springfield, but it's like oil and water with me and the city sometimes, not you particular. Y'all-
We love you, Jeremy. We love you guys.
Not any of you right here, but y'all know who I'm talking about. But like, we have to do better as a community and like whatever happened in the past, let all that go. Because I think you all are not gonna be able to offer all these people the technical assistance that they
No.
need, right?
Yeah, I think the technical assistance we can offer specifically is how to respond to an RFP, right? What, what are we looking for? What are quality proposals we've seen in the past? How does that process work? Those are the sorts of technical assistance the city can
Well,
offer.
Tina, what you guys can do, and I would just look into the future, is probably creating maybe a part-time staff with 3 people. The city council will definitely approve it. That'll.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I don't know.
And
I'm not.
technically, at least one position
Yeah.
to have someone actually, let's create a position maybe for somebody who can help, where someone can call in from the city, like instead of 311, you're contacting them and they're like the base of filtering the information.
I'm happy to bring that request back to the folks above me, but I don't, I can't guarantee.
So we're gonna
Requested.
go one more question dealing with if anyone has to do with the actual RFPs and housing, and then we'll switch it. Anyone? Let me get.
Okay. I have a question on training. So, I mean, would this organization offer some training to the people that don't know how to do this? Could y'all set something up like that?
That's
where
what technical
we would
assistance.
have the opportunity to apply and go, where you could, I'm gonna be careful with my words. Words do have consequences, so let me think how I want to put this. I just feel that, if we had the opportunity to go to the training to set us up where we could apply for it, and then if it needed to put in the application and we'd have to have certain things, then that's fine too. But at least afford us the opportunity to go to this training. Then we have the idea of what we have to do. But if we got to call around to 1,900 people in order to do it, and then we got to find a person that's good in this, and this, we're still back at square one. So
That's
I'm
what
asking-
technical assistance and training is like the same thing. So
Yeah, but I'm asking that somebody provide the training to us. There's a place where we can go, where we can apply for,
places,
huh?
there are places.
Okay,
There should be a list on the city website.
There is. For small businesses, I guess, if there are more resources that you think, so I'm happy to sort of share with the counselors the resources that exist on the city website. And then if there are things that you think we should be adding, happy to take that and try to add it, yeah.
I know a lot of
So
people,
now all I gotta do is
the
my email
mom and pop, not so much the small business, like a regular Joe who might be interested in knowing how to do an RFP to obtain a house or property.
So, and I'm committing, I'm happy to do a technical assistance workshop around that. We've done them before. We're happy to do them again. The
Right.
last one we did up at Tapley Street, we had really good turnout. I will say though, what was disappointing to us was we had great turnout at the workshop. And then the next RFP, we got no response.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
That's the frustrating part for us.
And just one place that you can go is the Small Business Development Center. That's over in Tower Square. Right, I think it's over there. I'm about to look it up for sure, but
Okay.
I was just at a training and they talked about some of the grants that's available for small businesses that the city offer. It was at UMass in Springfield. It was there from 7:30 to 9. Now, I can't reach out to everybody, but I do put a lot of information on my Facebook, and I put this particular one, and I seen a lot of people from the community that do go on my page that went on there, and I got it last minute, and I just post stuff. I'm not over it. I'm not in control of it, but I went and they had great resources in there. So mass development, some things people are gonna have to look up themselves. Mass development, mass housing, all these places, they offer like funding for emerging developers and stuff. But I'm gonna be 100% honest. You have to have your back office together to be able to get it. That means you have to have your business structure together, like your LLC or S Corp or whatever you're gonna be. You have to have at least 2 years tax returns. Everybody be like, where the grants at? Even to get grants, you gotta have some stuff together. As little as a business plan can help you get a micro grant from Common Capital, which is also one of the partners under my organization.
And that's really.
Yes,
I'm
yeah,
glad
so
that was-
need the business plan, there's certain things you need to be able to grow and get this money. And so
That's what I need.
maybe I will have a
I
little
need to
workshop.
know
Huh.
that.
Shut down.
See what I'm talking
That's what I'm
Thanks.
saying. That's what I'm talking
Well,
about.
that's why we're meeting. We want to start the spark. Because a lot of times, I'm telling you, you guys got to understand as a counselor, there's so many different areas that we're seniors, kids. Counselor Whitfield does a lot. She understands a lot more of the struggle when it comes to the property and obtaining that stuff. So I'm telling you, I hear the council, we've always been saying this for a while. So now we're here. I want everyone to now keep the same energy. Let's inform, let's just keep it going. You know, this is something that is a need. So that's why we're having this meeting.
Sign together and then like bring it on the road to the neighborhoods. Cause I can bring in some other folks too. And then you let all these people know, cause I just joined the meeting, seeing all these people in the room. I said, let me get down there. I didn't even know what it was about.
So we're gonna go, I see, we're gonna go online, let a couple people online, a few, what,
Sir, if I could say one thing, do you mind?
go ahead.
I have the form here to sign up to get information about properties. So maybe if I can get somebody out
Yeah,
there
why
to
don't I
make
run it out
copies,
to the council office?
so that you can go away and get on that list.
So if anyone didn't hear, she has a form. She's gonna have copies. I'm gonna let, someone said Dewan has a question, and then Zaid, I'm gonna come back at you. Dewan?
Yes, I'm here, Councilor Brown.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, great. First of all, I want to thank you for hosting this meeting. This is very beneficial to the community. Like Councilor Westfield says constantly, sometimes we are closed out of opportunities like this. So you guys have opened the door tremendously. So thank you guys for your leadership. I would say I again, the technical support, I've been in this industry for a long time. But I know I didn't have the length of time. So I did partner with people. I partner with DK Floors and Moores. He's been in business for over 30 years. I work with Giselle Gaines, who's a consultant that helped me develop a plan. And then we put in bids last summer to do flooring at Central SciTech and maybe another school. And we never even heard back. I didn't know if, hey, were we outbid? Hey, was your proposal not put together well? There's some feedback on, hey, or because I don't want to waste my time and go through all that effort and pay all that money again next year if it's just, hey, we want somebody that's done it, so it keeps going to the same people every year, right? That would be helpful if we can kind of just get some feedback. Hey, why wasn't you selected? Was it because you were outbid, but your proposal was put together well? Had you been lower, you would have been someone qualified. You see what I'm saying? I just want to know what the parameter, or if I'm wasting my time on that completely, and if I should go a different direction.
So, and just to that, procurement of goods and services in public construction is a totally separate area
Mhm.
from disposition of real estate. And there are different laws that guide it. And it's gonna really depend on what you put in for, like what type of bid that is, what kind of feedback you get back, right? So if it's a goods and services through an RFP type thing, then there's going to be written feedback, there's written score sheets, there's things like that. If it's an IFB or an invitation for bid where it just goes to the lowest bidder, there's not really feedback, right? It's just, it goes to the lowest qualified bidder. And Lauren can probably speak more to that process.
I think the other thing is that all of those things are run through the procurement office.
Yes.
And we don't have anyone here from procurement.
Okay,
Yeah,
and,
that's what I was saying, Lauren.
and that- go ahead.
Well, so my question, I guess, so similarly with the same thing, right? We could potentially run into the same issue when we're applying for, whether it be through auction. Of course, we would know if we were the highest bidder, but when it goes to the procurement process, if your petition is not accepted, if there can just be some feedback on why, right? So if it means, hey, you don't have enough years of experience, it makes no sense for that contractor again to go apply next year unless something's changed where then they would otherwise be qualified.
Makes sense.
I'm emailing her right now on that, so we can know.
And
Make a lot of sense.
and that
He's muted, so he's muted.
you're muted.
I'll CC you, Mama.
You're muted.
When you're on a phone, there's like certain buttons you have to press.
Sorry.
Because I've got
I'm sorry. Last thing, just again, because I put a lot of effort into that stuff. So I'm just saying, are there checks and balances as well to ensure that people aren't intentionally being left out because of politics, or they don't know the right people, or else somebody always wants to fund these certain organizations? Are there checks and balances to make sure that, hey, this person actually was the lowest bidder, or hey, you weren't the lowest bidder, or what have you? Are there checks and balances, or is that just one person making that decision?
Okay, so Councilor Whitfield, go ahead.
It's not one person, but it's a group of people that work for the city, which is an unfair
Okay.
process to me in itself. And one time, someone had asked me the same thing, sent me their proposal. And so I asked them for the feedback forms. And on the feedback forms, it said level of experience. So if you look at level of experience, it still was the same people who's been getting it for years. Because of course, their level of experience is going to be greater than someone else. So that's how they are going to continue to win the bid. And that's why I keep saying we can't just look at that. There has to be some type of mentorship program or partnering with someone. Like even a partnership, getting something is better than getting nothing, right? And so I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it until some changes get made. But Lauren Stabilo, who is over the procurement department, we really need to get her into one of these meetings, Councilor Brown.
So
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield.
You're welcome.
so we'll have a follow-up probably in a couple of weeks with some of the procurement stuff. So I know I know some people ask quickly, I'll answer some of their questions. How do you get
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm a new developer here in Springfield. And when you get these properties from the auction, they come with so many stipulations. And the stipulations that's in place, the city doesn't work with you to help you get through them stipulations. So that's why some people get these properties and then can't do nothing with them and got to give them back, because there's a time period on on what you got to do to get the lot to be buildable. And I had a property on Worthington Street where I was 49.8 feet of frontage. They made me get a variance. This is before the variance process changed. I paid $2,200. I waited 4 months. It was a 10-minute Zoom meeting, and everybody just said yes. So it's like, if you put these stipulations in place, why isn't the city, everybody that's here to better the city, why aren't they helping us get these stipulations, passed. They're putting us through the ringer to get it passed. So it's like, they're supposed to be there to help us, but they're not. And this is from my own personal experience.
Could I answer?
No. And what did you guys wanna, I think, a lot of times when it comes to things like that, that's kind of like what, me and my colleagues, Councilor Whitfield, Councilor Perez, even I seen Councilor Santinello, that's what we're here, that's what we're trying to address, because some of these things, they're just not thought out. Sometimes you guys might need some more support. Sometimes support comes in numbers. So I'm glad that we have the numbers now. We still, Councilor Whitfield, I know Councilor Perez, we're still going to meet. We're not going to end on this. This is us still collectively coming together. First step, getting the information and finding out where the different issues occur. So this is something new even to me. As an issue. So I thank you for being here and letting us know. Make sure you keep in touch with us. Keep in touch with all of us, and we collectively let's work on that issue also. Okay. Go ahead.
So one more thing real quick, right? And then another thing is, you got to have 5,000 square feet in order to build. So there's a lot of non-conforming lots that I'm seeing right now on Union Street being built on. And then there's also 2 on Liberty Street where the lot is 4,500 square feet. 2 houses are on the lot. The city must have, I don't know what happened, but they perfectly fit. They got the right parking. It's perfect. So why is the requirement 5,000 square feet when 4,500 square feet works?
Maybe Councilor Whitfield,
Well, that's just the law, right? It could have been 4,500 square feet at some time and it could be grandfathers in, but the variants have changed and there is some areas where it has to be 5,500 square feet or greater, right? In the city of Springfield. So what I'm gonna do as a city council president next year, first, woman of color, president of the city council, I get to create an ad hoc committee and I'm creating an ad hoc committee for the whole building process. So from permits to building, we're gonna come together and streamline these processes. So I'm glad that you're asking these questions. If you want to be on that committee, hit me up. You know me. Because we are gonna streamline that process, because I am also a developer and had to go through so much just to start, like a year of going through the city stuff just to start, and it's ridiculous. Like even just to get your house number, it takes so long, right? And so just going through it myself, I'm like, I understand why some people don't want to do business here because it's so difficult. And so we are starting that ad hoc committee. And if you want to be on it, anybody want to be on it, let me know. I can't have everybody on it, but we're gonna try to streamline the processes and building and code enforcement and permits. So.
Yeah, I would love to be on that list.
All right, thank you, Councilor Whitfield.
Excuse me, Councilor Bowman. How do you become a preferred developer? And segue to that question is, how do we stop some of these other nonprofits who get plots of land inside of areas like Mason, like Wayfinders, for example? How they get to target certain areas and get those properties, and other developers who are from those neighborhoods who've been born and raised it can't get those. How can that change?
Well,
There's a bunch of houses happening right now.
Chair.
Oh, sorry.
Through the chair. All questions through the chair.
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Basically, once again, that is why we're here. Okay. We see different organizations getting these properties. It's because they are in position, they're informed. A lot of us aren't. Okay. And a lot of times you're not informed to be able to submit for that. So I've always said to the city, hey, we want to do it. We want to apply for that stuff. They've always said, hey, you guys can apply for it. So that is where we're trying to find out where's that gap, okay? There's something missing. So that's why I know Counselor Whitfield, like she said, she'll be the first Black female president. I voted for her.
You did my final vote, thank you.
And so what she's talking about is come January, she'll have an actual committee, people who you guys can go and you can talk to that represents you guys, who's gonna help you through it. Okay, so I commend her. This has been an issue. It's amazing because it's hard for us to find each other. I don't know why. Like the city, but we've done it before. I would hate that they do these presentations and then now we don't take advantage of putting in the paperwork and getting these properties. Okay, so I would hope that's what we're gonna do.
May I just answer the preferred developer issue? Because I think that that's an important thing to just acknowledge. Preferred developer status is what a developer or an entity is granted once they've gone through the RFP process and they've submitted the most advantageous proposal. So then what happens is the city sends them a letter designating them the preferred developer for that property for a certain period of time. And typically within that period of time, there's a bunch of conditions they must satisfy in order for the property to then advance to the city council for approval of the closing.
Can you tell them about that other list you have, like when we have those programs, like the fixing the homes, when ARPA was here, and then there's another preferred list?
Contractor list,
Yeah.
is that, okay, so
Yes.
the Office of Housing maintains a list of home improvement contract, not even, usually CSLs, folks that have
That was one of the
CSL
programs,
licenses. That are interested in participating in the federally funded home repair programs. And so to get on that list, we typically just make sure you're licensed, you have valid license, and you're insured in the area that folks will be seeking those services. And so that's not a contract. So just to be clear, those aren't contracts with the city. What happens is the city enters into a contract with a homeowner. So we're granting the homeowner funds or we're loaning the homeowner funds. And then bids go out to the contractors on that list. And the lowest qualified contractor gets the award of the project. But that contractor enters into a contract with the homeowner. So the city enters into a contract with the homeowner enters into a contract with the contractor.
But it still has to be on your list, and that's the problem that I have, because
Typically, yeah.
when you gave the particular individual that I came to you for, the lowest bidder, they did terrible work.
Mhm.
And I don't understand why, if you're giving the money to the homeowner, they can't select their own contractor, or at least say, okay, we're gonna see how to get this contractor on the list.
If the homeowner has a contractor that is qualified, we're happy to add them to the list as long as they provide their license, their insurance, the same thing that the other
But they're
contractors.
still gonna have to RFP for the job, right? They can't.
They would have to bid on the job.
on the job.
yes.
And-
Because federal rules for federal funds require that that bids are solicited. That it doesn't just go to your contractor of choice. They want to make sure that we're getting the right price, a competitive price.
We're gonna go to Councilor Perez and then.
But that's separate than disposition, right?
Yeah.
So does
I
that-
don't
Understand that list it's not competitive prices. I'm a contractor and I've bid on plenty of things, and the prices that the people are giving you, there's no way they're doing the work for that. But then I found out after they add in change orders.
Yep.
Change orders happen on
Yeah.
almost any construction project I've ever
Yeah.
worked on, ever.
So that's why I said, if I go bid a roof that I know for $22,000 and somebody else comes, so we'll do it for 16 because they know that they'll put change orders as their check and the balance for them.
And I do want to also say for that particular list, we actually pulled all of the licensed CSLs in the region and sent them all notification to try to get as many folks as possible on that list.
No,
I've done plenty of them, but then that's why I said I've lost so many of them, like the young man said, why keep doing it?
yeah, and one thing, so now we're gonna switch over real quick to just talk. Isn't there a percentage of minority contract? Is that in there? You have to be like doesn't
Not for that.
not
no.
for that?
No, because these aren't you're thinking of the responsible employer ordinance that's applicable to public construction projects. These are not public construction projects. These are privately owned homes.
That the city,
We're
We're giving funding to a homeowner. The homeowner is contracting with a contractor.
But the city chooses.
We don't choose, just to be clear, it goes to the lowest bidder.
So you get how many quotes? 3?
Sometimes we get 10. Sometimes we
send
go
out
for a minimum of 3. We send out to the list. Sometimes it depends on the project. Honestly, it's hard to say, but we get a minimum of 3.
What I would like to see is the amount of change orders that come in, because that is an unfair advantage. So they can bid $10,000 and put in $30,000 of change orders. They know the project costs $40,000, so we need to look at those contractors that keep putting in change orders over and over.
Trust me, that is a battle I am fighting
Well,
every
we gonna
day.
fight it together because
Because that is my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Is contractors who try to do that.
And listen.
If there is anything that infuriates me more in this
Yeah.
world, it's that.
And I only find out about these things from you all. So if y'all don't tell us what's happening, we don't know to ask the city what's going on.
But I will say change orders do also go through an extensive
Yeah.
process. So the contractor, review process, the contractor submits a change order, the homeowner looks at it, it goes out to a third party firm that the city has. They give us their own independent costs. The change order has to be within that.
That's just them now saying, here what it costs to do the right thing, and someone checks to see if it costs that. Yes, it does. That's all that means.
Should be done on the front end.
Well, we
Yeah.
do. That also happens on the front end.
Yeah, or there should be a point system where you get,
For a $50,000 project, because you can't possibly do that. So some of it gotta just be common sense, like.
yeah.
And that does happen on the front end as well. So there's a review of all the bids that come in. We make sure that they're complete, that they meet specifications. Sometimes there is back and forth with the contractor. Your bid looks really low. What's going on here? Are you sure you included all these things?
So on that matter, is for the homeowner purpose information, is that a program all year round? Or you have open and close, for the homeowner?
So the only program that operates right now is the emergency repair program. So I think what Counselor Whitfield is referring to were the ARPA funded home repair projects. Those are not accepting new applications. That hasn't been accepting new applications for a couple years now. Right now, there's the emergency repair program. It operates like that. It's a lot smaller of a program and those projects go a lot quicker because it's one repair.
Okay.
It's one repair, but code, if they find any other.
Not for emergency
Not for-
repair.
okay.
Just one emergency repair.
Under HUD rules, we
But
can only do one.
If code does find other repairs that need to be done, do they start like sending out tickets?
We don't
and
send
stuff?
code enforcement.
Oh, you don't send code? Okay.
All right,
Well, except for the permitting purpose.
all right, go ahead.
Sorry.
You answered part of that, so thank you on that information. That's the question I had. But the second part of that, you made a statement about if people did, the work wasn't done well, but you still have those people on the list. Why would you have?
No,
the
they
people
take them
still-
off.
We take them.
They take them
Oh,
off.
okay, well,
No.
that wasn't
Someone
clarified,
gets
so I
off a
wanted
project,
to make sure that
they
was
get
clear on
taken
that
off.
part. Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you.
Mhm.
People for people.
For clause, unless there's a mutual, sometimes the homeowner and the contractor just decide to part ways. They're not seeing eye to eye and they both agree, we don't wanna move forward, and then they don't come off the list.
I'm gonna ask this question from another way. Since we're taxpayers, we have a right to certain information in the Freedom of Information Act, correct? Will we be able to get a copy of how many minorities are on these lists? Can we get that?
I'm sure that if it's possible, Councilor Whitfield
Yeah.
definitely gonna get it.
So-
Good question, though.
That's a good question.
Thank
If
you.
we can, I don't know if it's,
If there's a public.
if it's,
Right.
yeah,
You can file a
Yeah.
public
Have to
record
file a
request to the
public
law
record.
department and we
So
will
that's what
look
we
and
have to
see if the
do?
record exists.
yeah.
Yep. So that's a yes.
That's
Yeah.
me.
And public records request, you can file them, it's a link right online.
I
That you
understand.
can file.
I just figured that what,
Yeah.
he did ask the question, and we was asking it to the representation to us, so
Mhm.
we just kind of felt, but since you're telling us, we gotta do
But
it.
they have to be certified, that's the only real way you'll know.
I have to look at the
Anybody
form and
that-
just see what information we're
I just
intaking.
asked, do we have that information?
Okay.
Because I don't know if we asked.
I think what we're asking
they
is,
sort
are
of
they
used to be.
MWBE certified is what I think we're asking.
So otherwise, what we have is a list of
Do
names.
y'all all know what MWBE is?
Yeah.
Okay, it's minority,
Women.
women owned
Enterprise.
business certificate. So it usually goes through the Supply Diversity Office for the state, but the city of Springfield has its own. They have a reciprocal agreement with the state, so they use the exact same system that the state uses, and they can help you all get certified. So having that certification helps you win like even state level procurement contracts. I don't know if it gives an advantage on the city side for contracts, but if they write it in, it could. If you have a MWBE certification, having it sometimes is complicated, but there is an office here that can help you. And so it really helps you on the state. If you want to bid on state contracts, it really helps you win those type of contracts. So you guys should look into that, or guys, gals, everybody, whatever you subscribe to, should look into getting certified.
Excuse me, you said WM what?
It's MWBE.
We're going to, if there's
Minority Women Business Enterprises.
maybe like two more questions and we're gonna start to wrap this up. Is there anyone in the room who has? Anybody online?
So Tracy,
Yes.
so I'm on that list for the minority bids and putting numerous bids in. I always get, I don't know, outdid. So, and like Dewan was saying, I don't ever receive any feedback on if I was too low, if I didn't do it right, or so on and so forth. So I'm on that minority list and I bid all the time.
So you talking about city contracts or state?
I'm talking about, so it is I think it's city contracts. It is
So
city.
city contracts, I don't think MWBE certification is usually a requirement. So I don't think so, right? For most
I don't believe it's a requirement. I
Yeah.
think that there is a goal.
advantage.
Maybe, yeah.
So
But again, state law really dictates what the city can and
Yeah.
can't do. Typically, it's I think I'm hearing is someone who's bidding to be some sort of construction or services vendor for the
Yeah,
city. And that, again, it really depends on what kind of solicitation it is. Because if it's an IFB for the lowest bidder, the certifications don't come into play other than, are you qualified and are you the lowest bidder?
So if the RFP says if you're MWBE certified, you get additional, like you get a bump up or you get additional points, like the ARPA application said, then it will help you in those instances. But you have to, for MWBE certification for the state, it really does help you when you go through the procurement process there. But the organization that I run for the statewide, we're starting a program to help minority and women owners learn the procurement process, learn how to go into the SAMs and Combine systems of the state, and learn how to learn that the certifications, how they work for you. Because a lot of people don't see the benefit in them or the advantage of them, but we're gonna teach you how to do that. It's not gonna start until like next year, but I'll keep you posted on that, and anybody else, I don't know, y'all just gotta reach out to me somehow, I don't know, but
You could get on your page.
yeah, you can get on my Facebook page or and stuff like that. There's a lot of information I really do have. I'm gonna just ask you all to sign up with BECMA too. It's Black Economic Council of Massachusetts. It's great because they have this back boss program, it's back office support services, and they pay for your services. Now, I got a small business and they pay for mine. Okay, so they pay for your services. So if you need an accountant, they will pay for it. Look up LEDC, the Latino Economic Development Corporation right here in Springfield. They're about to change their name. They also have money, so they get y'all tax money from the state to offer these programs for free. So if you reach out to me, I'm gonna have, we're gonna have something together. I got too much going on in my head.
We gotta have.
That's what we're discussing, the
Yeah.
lack of communication, and
Yeah.
it's not only from the city.
Yeah.
It's that there's so many business out there that when you start looking, you don't know where to look because it's this.
It's a lot.
wet,
There are
you know?
organizations that help, like Common Capital. If you go and try to get a micro grant and you don't qualify for whatever reason, they will give you technical assistance. They also apply for this money from the state. So these are free programs that the state fund with, and they go through mass development, which also have programs, to give you all technical assistance. So it's not just the city, and we don't want to keep blaming the city because the city is like 5 people, but these organizations these organizations, this is what they get money to do to help all of you. I do have those resources, so I'm gonna let you all scan my little QR code if you want to. So this is the organization that I work with, and I have some of those businesses on my website. So if anybody want to scan the QR
All
code.
right, so wait, after you guys.
We'll do it after,
we'll
we're
do it
still in the meeting.
So I just had one quick one, and then, we'll start to try to wind this down. I think Greg might have one. My thing was basically, so say like the Eastville Mall project and the different projects like that, they said that they were looking for contractors to do some of the work, like things like that, when like a contractor can bid on some of those jobs. Where would they find that information from? How would they
The
get?
mall project is a private development.
Okay,
So-
because when they come before us, a lot of times they say that they're gonna hire minority contractors and sometimes they give us their contact stuff.
Yeah, and
Does the city-
that's through the private developer, so they hire contractors.
Then, cause they go to the REO committee and actually these waivers saying that they can't find nobody, but I'm like, where do you all like advertise?
I'm actually on that
Yeah.
committee as well. I go through Melvin Edwards, that's his thing. But my question,
hold on. And how about with the schools and things like that?
We can't speak to that.
Is that city? Is that city too?
School projects, like school building projects.
Yeah, that's state. I would
Well,
Yeah, they're run by the city, but
Run by
they
the
go
city,
through the
but the
procurement
funding goes
office.
in the state, some of
And
it.
it's run, the,
5%.
DCAM, it's one of.
Hold-
sorry,
hold on.
Sorry.
and they're run through capital asset
Right,
construction.
Right,
So I really can't speak intelligently to that.
Okay,
that's more complicated.
Yes.
maybe, I know Counselor Wilson, though.
But
No, cause I work
No,
with
no, no.
finance for the,
So,
yeah.
it's just for informational, because I had people who was interested in knowing that was something on here, so I know. Go ahead,
The chair of
Counselor.
REO.
I think,
But those projects all get publicly bid, right? So they
Yeah.
all go out through the procurement office. And
Okay.
that's really, I would urge folks, if this is the world you're interested in, I would be monitoring their site, right? Like they have to post everything.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Counselor.
So with that in mind, I don't know if I want to thank everyone for being here. This was just the tip of the iceberg. I can assure you there will be way more information. This was brought to my attention, so I'm glad that they even talked about
Yeah.
some of the bidding issues, and I want people to be able to know how to obtain property. The mom and pops and nonprofits and anyone, if I want to see that property, there's ways to do it. I know my colleagues, we've always complained about Why don't people know how to do it? So I'm glad. I want to tell you, I know Councilor Whitfield, she does a lot of that stuff. So coming into after January, we'll have an actual department that she's gonna set up that'll be
Committee.
committee.
It's like, wow, I'm like, that's an executive, that's the mayor. We're gonna have 6 people. Yeah, I can't touch it.
Right.
Okay, so what type of, I'm sorry, it's like,
But
My question would be, there would be more of these type settings.
Oh, yes.
yes, yeah.
And
Mhm.
I guess the second part of my question is, if so, how would we know?
That's what we're gonna have to try to work out.
So I'm
Because
gonna say
that's-
this, I know everybody will want the city to mail out everything all the time, but we don't have that in the budget.
Right.
So sometimes we gotta like do our own research, right? And like, look on the city's website. It usually posts everything on the city
Let me
website.
ask a question,
Mhm.
but have you talked to maybe a person at the postal service, one of those executives about maybe getting a mailing? Going through the mailing system where they can discount you on
I
that?
think we already get a discounted rate.
We go through the chair, sorry, but we go through, our posters go through Pitney Bowes and we have a discounted rate. It's still, I'll be honest, it's still very expensive. The website is, and a lot of times, and no offense to anybody here, so please don't take it. A lot of times we'll mail, I'm the tax collector, we'll mail out the bills and they'll be like, where do you get the bill? So they think they escrow, which is understandable, and they don't open it. So,
And one thing, hold on. One thing, I just want us to be aware of, this is where the spark goes. So say the radio station, people for people, someone can call a radio station and saying, this is what we're having. We ain't gotta pay them to tell, I would think they wanna say it for free, okay? There are certain things as far as the people in this room, sometimes the word of mouth. I can tell you if something happened negative, everybody in Springfield might know about it, okay? So it's gonna be the word of mouth, it'll start with using everyone in this room. So when you see something, stay on Councilor Whitfield page, stay on my page, stay on her page. We're gonna post it. Go on the city council page.
Yeah, there's a city council communication page. So I only do Facebook because I'm not good at the other stuff. It automatically goes to Instagram. That's all I know about Instagram. But like sometimes we got to take our own ownership to find out information. And sometimes just send me a quick text. Don't call me because I'm not answering because I got a lot going on. But text me and be like, you know anything? That's because you have my number. You know anything that's coming down the pike? And I'll be like, oh yeah, let me send you this. And that's what I do to a lot of people because I can't remember everybody all the time. So like, stay on.
And hold on,
What
and
did you guys
hold
get from
on,
this?
Greg.
Hold
on,
What did
Greg.
you guys take from this meeting?
Hold on.
Exactly. Okay, all right,
Nothing new, right?
exactly. Well,
Because it's the same information we've been saying.
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry.
Just to be honest, okay? We will work with you guys. I know me and Councilor Whitfield, Councilor Perez, this is not the last meeting, guys, okay? We cannot shove everything in this one right now. It's just not gonna happen. There was a lot of good questions, even things I didn't know about. But once you get this information, tell a friend and tell that friend to tell a friend, okay? We gotta work more together. I think a lot of times what people don't understand is they'll get this information and they'll hold it because they're afraid maybe that other person, if they do it, they won't be able to get the opportunity. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of properties out there, okay? Great.
Actually, I would love to answer that question. That's what I'm raising my hand for, if I can.
Right.
I think one of the things that I heard very clearly is that there's a lot of room to do a lot more training and technical assistance so that people know how to get these opportunities. And I think also that I clearly heard that Councilor Whitfield can work with us to identify some of the sources of that additional people to bring in to be doing the technical assistance as well as how to get the word out.
Really quick. So
Yes.
with that in mind, it's so horrible.
Folks filled out those sheets. If
But
you-
excuse me, we're still, we didn't end this meeting yet. Thank you. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and being patient with us as a city and a body, city council body. There's a lot more. I want anyone on the line, you can call me 413-316-4743. That's my cell phone. Call me anytime. I'll try to keep you in the loop. But I want to thank the city. I want to thank you guys for coming and giving us this information. You guys do an excellent job. I know a lot of times people don't understand the hard work that you guys put in. And it's not you guys. I know it's not you guys. I can promise you they do an excellent job. So anybody online or anyone here, when you see them, believe me, they'll always work with you. I want you guys to make sure you introduce yourself to them. I want you guys to know them. They should be your best friends. Okay, they're the ones that can make it happen. Sometimes people will walk by people like this and come to the city councilor, come to the mayor, come to the governor, and they don't know these are the blood that makes that stuff happen. They walk by these people, they don't understand these are people that can help you. Okay, so I want to commend you guys for your tireless work. You guys do an excellent job. Make sure you guys know these people, okay? I'm not stupid, all right? They wouldn't be here. But with that in mind, thank everyone for being here, and we're gonna close it out.